One might assume gathering rainwater is merely a matter of placing a bucket outdoors when it storms. Frankly, that was my belief as well, until I invested time investigating the water management systems of the Amish. What I uncovered was truly extraordinary. An average Amish household of 6 gathers approximately 5,200 gallons of rainwater each year, sufficient to fill around 24,000 standard water bottles. Impressively, they accomplish this entirely without modern gadgets or electrical power. The key is rooted in their profound grasp of water conservation, knowledge handed down across generations. While the majority of us seldom give a second thought to opening a faucet, Amish families meticulously account for every drop they utilize. Their water consumption pattern reveals a compelling narrative. 30% is allocated to their livestock. Those horses certainly require their portion. 25% irrigates their abundant gardens. 20% is used for keeping their garments clean. 15% covers general cleaning tasks. And the final 10% is set aside for drinking and culinary purposes. Here's a statistic that might prompt you to rethink your next extended shower. The typical American home consumes roughly 300 gallons of water per day, aided by modern plumbing. In contrast, Amish families flourish using merely 60 to 70 gallons daily through meticulous conservation. My neighbor, John, recently put in a smart irrigation system for his lawn that consumes more water in a single day than an Amish family utilizes over an entire week. However, this transcends simply using less water. It's about appreciating water's inherent worth. In Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, an Amish farmer conveyed to me, water isn't merely something emerging from a pipe, it's a blessing demanding respect. This viewpoint influences every aspect of how they collect and employ water. During my visit, I observed his youngest son diligently clearing leaves from their gutters, explaining how even a minor obstruction could squander valuable rainfall. The Amish strategy for water management is particularly striking when considering the obstacles they encounter. Lacking electricity, they cannot just flick a switch to pump water on demand. Instead, they have devised clever systems that collaborate with nature, rather than opposing it. They have transformed constraints into strengths, establishing water collection techniques that are not only efficient, but also kind to the environment. Even more captivating is how this system fosters community bonds. When one family's water reserves dwindle, neighbors readily provide assistance. During an especially arid summer, I observed 3 Amish families collaborating to enhance their collection systems, openly sharing expertise and resources. As one elder remarked with a knowing look, God dispatches the rain for all. It falls upon us to capture it judiciously. Their techniques might appear archaic to some, yet their outcomes are anything but obsolete. These systems have demonstrated their reliability through droughts, storms, and even shifts in climate. Contemporary environmentalists increasingly turn to Amish water conservation practices for ideas. Ultimately, there's considerable power in a system that has supported communities for generations without damaging the environment. The resourcefulness begins right within the home, where every element of an Amish house is conceived to maximize nature's aquatic gift. Roofs serve as the overlooked champions of Amish water collection. Unlike contemporary asphalt shingles, which can absorb about 10% of rainfall, much like a sponge at a pool party, these surfaces direct every valuable drop precisely where it needs to flow. Last summer, I watched an Amish farmer named Jacob installing a new roof. He chuckled when I inquired about modern roofing materials. "The old ways are superior," he stated, tapping the metal panel. "This roof will outlast me, and likely my children as well." The crucial element is the pitch, that technical term for the roof's steepness. Most Amish dwellings feature a 45-degree angle, which might seem like an attempt to construct a miniature mountain, but sound science underpins it. Water descends more rapidly on steeper gradients, affording it less opportunity to evaporate or be carried off by wind. An Amish builder informed me they lose less than 2% of rainfall to evaporation, compared to as much as 20% on typical suburban roofs. "We don't aim to give the water time to enjoy the scenery," he quipped, while displaying his newest project. The choice of material isn't solely based on tradition, either. Modern research indicates that metal roofs in Amish communities have an average lifespan of 60 to 70 years compared to the 20 to 30-year lifespan of standard asphalt shingles. They also retain their water-shedding effectiveness throughout their entire existence, unlike other materials that grow more absorbent with age. But the true brilliance stems from those slender strips of copper and zinc positioned along the roof ridges. They function like security personnel at an exclusive club, except instead of barring unruly patrons, they prevent algae from establishing residence. When rain falls, minuscule particles of these metals wash down with the water, naturally maintaining the cleanliness of the entire roof. It's nature's own cleaning crew, operating around the clock without requiring a single coffee break or salary. These strips typically discharge just enough metal ions to inhibit growth, but not enough to compromise water quality, about a 0.02% concentration, significantly below any levels of concern. Gutters are a different matter altogether. In most Amish communities, clearing gutters isn't merely a household task, it's practically a family custom. Children learn from a young age that clean gutters equate to clean water, and there's often some lighthearted rivalry involved. I once witnessed two brothers competing to clear their respective sides of the house, with their father timing them. The victor received first choice of freshly baked cookies that evening. Now, that's what I consider effective motivation. Regarding gutters, some Amish communities still employ wooden ones. Yes, you understood correctly, wooden gutters. Before dismissing this as antiquated stubbornness, consider this. These gutters, sealed with natural pine tar, can endure for decades given appropriate upkeep. The pine tar not only seals the wood but also imparts a mild antimicrobial property that aids in keeping the water pure. Modern plastic gutters might be simpler to install, but they will require replacement long before these wooden veterans exhibit signs of aging. The entire roof system functions like a meticulously coordinated orchestra. The metal sheets convey water swiftly and effectively. The steep pitch imparts momentum. The copper and zinc maintain cleanliness, and the gutters direct everything precisely where it needs to flow. Each component fulfills its role flawlessly, without necessitating electricity or modern tech. During intense rainfall, these systems can manage up to 12 gallons per minute without overflowing, akin to operating 6 garden hoses at maximum capacity. Here's a fact that astonished me. A typical Amish roof spanning 2,000 square feet can gather approximately 1,250 gallons of water from merely 1 inch of rainfall. That's sufficient volume to fill a small swimming pool. However, unlike a swimming pool, this water isn't simply stagnant, awaiting someone to perform a cannonball. Every single drop serves a purpose, and the Amish have determined exactly where to store it all. The maintenance regimen is equally remarkable. Each spring and autumn, the entire roof system undergoes a comprehensive inspection. Loose panels are secured, seals are verified, and gutters receive a thorough cleaning. This methodical approach ensures most Amish roof systems function at optimal efficiency for decades, whereas many modern homes contend with leaks and repairs every few years. The intelligent design doesn't cease at collection. Every Amish home requires a method for storing all this collected water. This is where matters become truly intriguing, as they've devised storage solutions that would cause any engineer to pause in admiration. The only product we'll ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, about 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis times, like the Great Depression and wartime, that are impossible to find elsewhere. We decided to promote his book because we are the last generation able to share these techniques and superfoods to our children or grandchildren. It would be a shame to see this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods to survive crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Apperson on their store. If you're watching this on TV, you can look up our channel Frugal Solutions on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. Far below the surface, something extraordinary lies hidden. Beneath every Amish farm exists an engineering marvel unseen by most: the cistern. These subterranean chambers typically contain between 2,500 and 2,000 gallons of water, roughly the capacity of 40 bathtubs. Yet, describing them merely as underground tanks is akin to calling the Grand Canyon simply a large terrestrial depression. The construction of these cisterns is where the process becomes truly captivating. Each is excavated by hand using methods largely unchanged since the 1800s. I recently observed an Amish family excavating a new cistern, and I can assure you, it's a significant family undertaking. The father marked out a flawless circle while his teenage sons commenced the digging. My great-grandfather dug his cistern using the same kind of shovel, he informed me, patting a well-worn wooden handle, although he probably didn't have his wife bringing out fresh lemonade hourly as I do. The depth is critical, typically ranging from 8 to 12 feet, though some extend as deep as 15 feet. An Amish builder clarified that they dig until they encounter what they term good clay. When I inquired how they identify good clay, he scooped up a handful and compressed it. When it coheres like fresh bread dough, that's how you know. Apparently, some older community members can discern suitable clay merely by its scent. The walls of these cisterns reveal their own narrative. They are lined with a particular type of clay that functions as a natural water purifier. This isn't common backyard soil, it's meticulously chosen clay, proven effective through generations of application. The clay is blended with specific ratios of sand and local materials, forming a natural filter that maintains water purity without modern technology. One elderly Amish man jested, "Our clay achieves what your sophisticated filters do, except ours requires no batteries." The actual construction process exemplifies traditional building mastery. After the excavation, the base is carefully molded into a gentle bowl shape to aid water collection. The walls are erected layer by layer, with each stratum of clay smoothed and compacted using hand tools passed down through generations. Some families still utilize wooden trowels believed to impart the ideal finish to the clay walls. Here's a fact that might astound you. Some original cisterns dating back to the 1800s remain in use today. I visited one excavated in 1876. It has held water longer than the Statue of Liberty has existed. The key to their endurance resides in the dome-shaped top. It's not merely aesthetic. The dome prevents collapses and can bear the weight of a horse-drawn wagon passing above. We constructed it this way before anyone understood why it functioned, an Amish elder told me. Now, engineers declare it perfect architecture. We simply term it common sense. The placement of each cistern is determined with extraordinary precision. They leverage the natural ground elevation to generate water pressure, no pumps necessary. Every foot of elevation produces water pressure that facilitates water movement throughout the property. One farmer demonstrated how they position their cistern so water flows naturally to their barn, house, and garden. "Gravity is complementary," he remarked with a smile, "and it never takes a day off." Maintenance is another domain where Amish resourcefulness is evident. They've established an annual cleaning procedure that keeps these subterranean chambers in impeccable working condition. The timing aligns with the harvest schedule, typically in early spring before the substantial rains arrive. The entire community often participates, transforming a potentially monotonous task into a social gathering. Last spring, I witnessed 3 generations collaborating to clean their family cistern. The grandfather supervised from his rocking chair, dispensing advice and old anecdotes in equal measure. These cisterns also incorporate ingenious overflow systems to manage surplus water during heavy rainfall. Small channels integrated into the upper sections of the cistern direct any overflow towards nearby gardens or fields. Nothing is squandered in these systems. Even the overflow contributes to nourishing the land. While modern residences depend on intricate pumping systems and electric sensors, these traditional cisterns function purely based on principles of physics and meticulous design. Yet, sometimes even a 2,000-gallon cistern proves insufficient for all a farm's requirements. That's where another clever storage solution emerges, one situated above ground that has become as emblematic as the cisterns below. Have you ever pondered the fate of maple syrup barrels once the final sweet drop is consumed? Within Amish communities, they embark on a second career as rain barrels. These aren't your standard garden center rain barrels. They are food-grade wooden containers that previously held Pennsylvania's finest maple syrup. Transitioning from sweetness to survival, a standard Amish rain barrel setup includes 4 to 6 interconnected barrels strategically located around the property. Their placement is vital. Each barrel rests upon a carefully built wooden platform, raising it just sufficiently to generate natural water pressure. An Amish farmer named Eli displayed his system, constructed entirely from salvaged barnwood. The platforms must be robust, he explained, patting one support beam. A full barrel weighs as much as a small horse. A clever element that captured my interest was the first flush diverter system. The initial few minutes of rainfall, typically carrying the most dust and debris from the roof, are diverted away from the primary collection. It's akin to having security personnel who exclude problematic individuals at the beginning of an event. The Amish didn't pioneer this system, but they have refined it using solely gravity and some wooden channels. Mosquitoes could pose a significant issue with any standing water, but the Amish have devised an entirely natural remedy. They employ cedar oil, which inherently repels insects without impacting water quality. One family I visited goes a step further by introducing small fish into their barrels during the summer months. The fish consume the mosquito larvae, the mother clarified, and subsequently they nourish our garden. That's what I call a mutually beneficial arrangement. The overflow mechanism is another illustration of ingenious design. When one barrel reaches capacity, the surplus water travels via wooden channels to the subsequent barrel in the sequence. If all barrels are full, the overflow is guided to adjacent gardens through a network of shallow trenches. An Amish farmer jested that his tomatoes are unaware whether they receive water from the sky or his barrel system, and they don't appear to mind either way. Winter introduces its own difficulties, but the Amish have addressed that as well. They insulate their barrels using substantial layers of straw fastened with handmade rope. The straw originates from their own fields, and the rope is frequently crafted from plants they cultivate themselves. One elderly Amish man showed how they wrap the barrels, moving with surprising nimbleness for his age. "We used to employ old blankets," he chuckled, until we noticed the horses were becoming envious of the barrels remaining warmer than they were. The maintenance schedule for these barrels aligns with natural rhythms. In spring, they undergo thorough cleaning and inspection for any winter-related damage. Summer involves regular monitoring of water levels and quality. Autumn entails preparations for winter, and winter itself is when most repair activities occur. Each season carries specific tasks, all meticulously planned to maintain the system's smooth operation. However, perhaps the most remarkable feature is how these barrels integrate into the broader water system. Through a network of wooden gutters and channels, water can be directed wherever it's most needed, from irrigating gardens to replenishing animal troughs. The entire system functions without a single pump or electronic part, demonstrating that sometimes the traditional methods are indeed the superior ones. Naturally, gathering water represents only a portion of the task. The subsequent vital step involves ensuring its cleanliness and safety for use. The Amish have formulated their own purification techniques that would likely astonish most modern water treatment specialists, and it all commences with materials readily available right on the farm. The Amish method for water filtration surpasses most contemporary systems. While the rest of us depend on costly filters and intricate machinery, they have perfected a 3-stage process utilizing materials found directly on their farms. Nature furnishes everything required to purify water, an Amish elder informed me. We simply needed to observe what proved effective. Layer 1 begins with clean river gravel, but not just any gravel. Each spring, families journey to specific locations along local rivers where generational experience has identified rocks ideal for filtration. The gravel is replaced annually in a community gathering that blends work with social interaction. Last year, I observed children vying to discover the most attractive filtering stones while their parents debated which river bends yielded the finest gravel. The children believe they are merely playing, one mother whispered to me, but they are learning precisely the appearance of effective filtering stones. The second layer utilizes sand sourced from particular creek beds renowned for their purity. This isn't standard sandbox material. These specific creek beds have been employed for water filtration since the initial Amish settlers arrived. The sand particles possess the ideal size to capture minuscule impurities while permitting clean water to pass through. An Amish farmer demonstrated how they evaluate the sand by passing clean water through it. If the water emerges clearer than it entered, we've located the correct spot. The third layer might come as a surprise: charcoal derived from hardwoods like oak and maple. However, this isn't the same charcoal intended for a summer cookout. The Amish produce it through a meticulous process that generates millions of microscopic pores, ideal for trapping contaminants. They burn the wood at precise temperatures under controlled conditions, a technique passed down through generations. My grandfather could discern when the charcoal was ready solely by the aroma of the smoke, one Amish man recounted. I had to learn through trial and error, producing several batches suitable only for grilling hot dogs. What renders this system genuinely remarkable is the synergistic action of the layers. Each targets distinct types of impurities, yielding water often purer than that from municipal taps. The Amish have even devised their own testing methods, employing certain plants that alter color upon detecting impurities. "We practiced water testing long before scientists conceived of it," an elder quipped. "We simply utilize flowers instead of sophisticated machinery." For potable water, they incorporate an additional step, filtering through meticulously cleaned cheesecloth. This final stage captures any residual particles, but with a unique aspect. The cheesecloth must originate from their own sheep's wool, processed and woven by hand. The dense weave of hand-processed wool forms an exceptionally effective final filter. The maintenance schedule adheres to lunar phases, a tradition that might appear peculiar until its underlying logic is understood. The moon's gravitational influence affects water flow, rendering certain periods optimal for cleaning and replacing filter materials. "People assume we're being superstitious," an Amish farmer told me with a perceptive smile. "But attempt cleaning your filter during a full moon. The water consistently runs clearer." These natural indicators of water quality have proven astonishingly dependable. Certain plants situated near the filtration system will droop if the water contains excessive minerals. Other plants shift color if the pH balance is incorrect. It's comparable to possessing a living water analysis laboratory directly in your backyard. One family maintains a small plot of these indicator plants near their filtration system, arranged in what appears decorative but actually functions as a sophisticated monitoring setup. While this natural filtration system admirably handles most of their water requirements, the Amish understand the importance of not depending solely on one source. Consequently, every community also sustains another vital water source, one reaching deep into the earth itself. Far beneath the serene Amish countryside lies another essential water source, the well. Most Amish wells extend between 75 and 100 feet into the earth, accessing ancient aquifers that have provided fresh water for centuries. These aren't typical backyard wells equipped with electric pumps and modern apparatus. Instead, they are marvels of human-powered engineering capable of drawing up to 7 gallons per minute, using nothing more than traditional physical effort. The hand-operated pump systems may appear uncomplicated, but they embody generations of refined design. Each pump handle is meticulously balanced, not overly heavy, preventing a child from using it in an emergency, yet not so light as to compromise pumping efficiency. The ideal handle weight, an Amish carpenter informed me while patting his well pump, approximates that of a newborn calf, although the calf typically struggles more than the handle. Larger Amish farms frequently feature backup windmill pumps resembling something straight from an old Western film. These windmills can pump water even while everyone is asleep or occupied with the harvest. One farmer showed me his restored 1890s windmill, still functioning perfectly. "The wind never sends us an invoice," he remarked with a grin, "though it occasionally takes unforeseen hiatuses." The engineering principles behind these windmills are captivating. The blades are carefully angled to capture even the faintest breeze, and the gearing mechanism amplifies the wind's force to operate the pump mechanism deep underground. Each windmill can lift water from depths of up to 130 feet, nearly double the depth accessible by most hand-pumped wells. The well locations themselves are selected using traditional dowsing methods, a practice that might elicit skepticism in the modern era, but has served the Amish exceptionally well. The community's designated dowser traverses the land with a forked stick or metal rods, seeking subterranean water sources. When I voiced doubt about this technique, an Amish elder challenged me. In 50 years of dowsing wells within this community, we've encountered only 2 dry holes. Show me a contemporary company with a superior success rate. During periods of drought, these wells become the community's vital resource. The Amish have established an impressive well-sharing system, ensuring no family lacks water. They have mapped every well in their vicinity and determined the maximum distance a horse and wagon can travel, carrying full water barrels. Each family knows precisely which wells are accessible should their primary source fail. One farmer jested, "It's like having a contingency plan for your contingency plan, except we've been doing it since before contingency plans were conceived." Maintaining these wells demands remarkable skill and knowledge, all executed without modern tools. The Amish employ a system of wooden poles and pulleys to gauge well depth and clear out sediment. It's a hazardous task requiring absolute precision. One incorrect move could damage the well shaft. I watched in awe as 3 generations of one family collaborated to clean their well, each individual knowing exactly their role without exchanging a word. The well water's quality is assessed regularly using traditional methods. They drop specially treated wood pieces into the well. If the wood changes color in specific ways, it indicates various minerals or potential concerns. While this might appear rudimentary, studies have demonstrated these traditional testing methods can be surprisingly accurate. Modern laboratories have verified that Amish wells frequently yield water meeting or exceeding EPA standards for drinking water. The Amish have also devised unique techniques for detecting underground water movement. By pressing their ear against a specially carved wooden rod inserted into the ground, experienced well diggers can actually hear water flowing through subterranean channels. This method helps them ascertain not only the presence of water, but also its approximate depth and volume. Some wells in Amish country have been supplying water continuously since the Civil War era. These ancient wells are regarded with almost sacred respect, their locations and maintenance histories meticulously documented in family Bibles. When an old well requires refurbishment, the entire community convenes to assist, transforming the labor into a celebration of their heritage and self-reliance. The Amish have even mastered harnessing natural elevation variations to transport this well water precisely where needed. It's an ingenious system operating without a single electrical pump, proving that sometimes the most straightforward solution is also the most sophisticated. Currency might drive the global economy, but gravity dictates the flow of Amish water. By skillfully utilizing the natural contours of their land, Amish families save approximately $800 annually compared to households relying on electric pumps. One Amish farmer chuckled when I brought up modern pumping systems. Why incur costs for something nature provides freely? The scientific principle behind their gravity-fed systems is elementary. Water naturally flows downwards, and the higher its storage point, the greater the resulting pressure. For instance, placing a water tank on a hill 20 feet above your residence generates ample pressure for faucets, comparable to a typical municipal water system. The Amish have perfected this natural methodology, establishing networks of pipes and storage vessels at varying elevations across their properties. It resembles a water staircase, explained an Amish builder, except the water exclusively descends, never ascends. Food-grade materials constitute the core of their distribution network. Pipes are carefully chosen to prevent harmful chemicals from leaching into the water. Many families still employ wooden pipes for specific segments, fashioned from hollowed logs sealed with natural pitch. These wooden conduits can endure for decades with proper upkeep, and some families assert they enhance the water's taste. My grandfather used to say the wood recalls how to transport sap, so it inherently understands how to carry water. The construction procedure itself is remarkable. Each pipe section must be perfectly level or angled precisely to ensure adequate flow. The Amish utilize traditional carpentry levels and plumb bobs to attain this accuracy, often adhering to tolerances as tight as a 1/4 inch over a 20-foot pipe length. It's meticulous labor, but crucial for the system's proper function. Winter months present distinct challenges for any water system, yet the Amish have devised clever solutions to avert freezing. They bury their primary pipes below the frost line, typically 4 to 6 feet deep in most regions. Above-ground pipes are enveloped in thick layers of sheep's wool insulation, and critical sections are engineered to drain automatically when idle. One elderly Amish man shared his father's maxim: water cannot freeze if it's absent. Pressure relief mechanisms ensure the entire system operates smoothly. Simple float valves, akin to those in a toilet tank but crafted entirely from wood and natural materials, automatically manage water flow. These valves represent masterpieces of simplicity. No electricity, no intricate components, just carefully balanced wooden parts responding to water pressure. Storage tanks, situated at different heights, fulfill various roles. The highest tanks supply drinking water, where maximum pressure is essential. Lower tanks provide water for gardens and livestock. The lowest collection points gather overflow for recycling back into the system. Each level is meticulously calculated. Excessive height difference creates undue pressure that could harm pipes. Insufficient elevation hinders proper water flow. The maintenance routine adheres to a strict seasonal calendar. Spring involves inspecting all pipes and joints following winter's freeze-thaw cycles. Summer necessitates regular cleaning of storage tanks and adjusting flow rates for heightened water consumption. Autumn is designated for system-wide pressure testing and repair work. Winter requires continuous monitoring of freeze protection measures. The entire network demands regular oversight, but not through conventional means. Instead of gauges and meters, the Amish employ simple wooden floats painted distinct colors. A swift look at these floats conveys all necessary information about water levels and flow rates throughout the system. Our monitoring system never requires new batteries, one farmer quipped, just a fresh coat of paint every few years. What's genuinely extraordinary is the system's adaptability to evolving needs. When a family requires increased water pressure for a specific task, they don't install a pump. They simply add an elevated storage container. The entire community often assists with these additions, transforming them into social occasions. During one such gathering, I observed an entire storage platform being erected in under a day, followed by a celebratory meal. This gravity-fed strategy achieves more than mere cost savings. It cultivates a profound connection between the community and their water supply. Every family understands precisely the origin of their water and its journey to them. Yet, it's not solely about transporting water from origin to destination. The crucial query is, what occurs when this water reaches your drinking glass? The answer unveils another fascinating dimension of Amish water management. Fresh spring water ranks highest among preferred drinking sources within Amish communities. Weekly, families undertake journeys to community springs that have sustained their settlements for generations. These aren't arbitrary springs. They are meticulously chosen sources that have endured decades of traditional testing methods. City dwellers believe water should be tasteless, an Amish elder remarked during a spring water collection excursion, but authentic water narrates a story with each sip. The weekly spring water gathering has evolved into a social event in many communities. Families coordinate their excursions, sharing both the labor and the latest community updates. Young couples frequently handle the water collection jointly. It has become such a prevalent courtship ritual that some Amish humorously refer to it as spring dating. One grandmother laughingly told me, "Half the marriages in our community commenced with two young individuals disputing whose turn it was to fill their jug first." Each spring adheres to its own collection etiquette. Families must await their turn, and there's a correct method for filling containers that minimizes disruption to the spring bed. The most adept collectors can fill a 5-gallon jug without disturbing a single grain of sand, a skill demanding years of practice. Older community members often dedicate time to instructing younger ones in the proper technique. When spring water is inaccessible, well water serves as the alternative drinking source. Amish wells access deep aquifers where water naturally filters through layers of rock and sand. Each family possesses knowledge, passed down through generations, regarding which wells yield the finest drinking water. Some wells have achieved considerable renown, such as the Sweetwater Well in one community, reputed to produce the best coffee across 3 counties. For culinary purposes, filtered rainwater frequently suffices perfectly. The Amish have noted that certain dishes actually taste superior when prepared with rainwater. Bread, specifically, appears to rise more effectively with it. An Amish baker shared her insight. Rainwater is softer than well water. It renders the bread fluffier. My mother-in-law remained skeptical until I baked 2 loaves side by side. Summer introduces unique challenges for storing drinking water. The Amish have devised ingenious cooling systems employing subterranean storage rooms known as water cellars. These naturally chilled spaces maintain drinking water at a refreshing temperature without any electricity. They are constructed with special ventilation shafts that generate a natural circulation of cool air. Nature's refrigerator, one farmer termed it, and it never dispatches a power bill. The water testing methods transmitted through generations might appear basic but are remarkably effective. Clear glass jars filled with water are left in sunlight for a day. If any algae develops, the water requires further filtration. They also utilize silver coins. If a coin placed at the bottom of a water jar tarnishes rapidly, it might signal sulfur content. One elder demonstrated these tests for me, joking that their approach was more economical than sophisticated testing kits, and we don't need to decipher any minuscule print. Different water sources fulfill distinct roles throughout the day. Morning drinking water typically originates from springs, whereas afternoon tea might utilize filtered rainwater. Some families even gather dew for specific medicinal applications, adhering to traditions extending back centuries. Each type of water possesses its own appropriate time and place, explained an Amish mother, just as one wouldn't wear Sunday attire for milking cows. The communal aspect of water collection establishes a natural quality control mechanism. If anyone observes alterations in their water's taste, odor, or clarity, information disseminates swiftly. Families share insights about water quality as readily as they exchange recipe. This informal monitoring network has contributed to upholding clean drinking water standards for generations. Some families even possess designated ceramic containers for different water sources. Spring water might reside in the blue glazed jug, while well water occupies the brown one. It's not merely for organizational purposes. They assert that each type of water remains fresher in specific container types. The water and the vessel must be compatible, one elder explained, perfectly earnest despite his poetic phrasing. The reverence for water sources extends to their safeguarding. Each community enforces strict regulations concerning the protection of springs and wells. Children learn from an early age how to collect water without harming the source. Tend to the water, advises a common Amish adage, and the water will tend to you. Nevertheless, even the most meticulously crafted plans can encounter unforeseen difficulties. Weather fluctuations, seasonal shifts, and other variables can impact water supplies in ways that challenge even the most seasoned Amish water managers. When summer droughts materialize, even the most effectively planned water systems confront severe trials. The Amish confront these obstacles with extraordinary forbearance and ingenuity. Last summer, during an exceptionally dry period, I observed one community enacting their drought contingency plan, a complex rotational system ensuring every family possessed sufficient water for essential needs. Droughts resemble unannounced dinner guests, one farmer remarked. They arrive unexpectedly, and you must accommodate them regardless. Winter introduces its own array of difficulties. Frozen pipes can rupture, ice can impair storage containers, and water collection becomes more arduous when everything is blanketed in snow. The Amish have learned to anticipate these cold weather challenges months beforehand. By late autumn, most families have already winterized their entire water system. They insulate pipes with thick layers of straw, drain outdoor containers, and establish emergency water collection points resistant to freezing. The seasonal maintenance schedule keeps everyone occupied. Spring entails inspecting for winter damage and clearing sediment accumulated during the cold months. Summer involves algae management and addressing increased demand for garden irrigation. Autumn is the repair season, mending leaks and preparing for winter. One Amish carpenter jested, "Just when you believe everything is repaired, the weather shifts and presents an entirely new array of problems." Community collaboration becomes indispensable during water scarcity. Families possessing deeper wells or more productive springs share resources with those whose water sources have diminished. They have cultivated an informal water-sharing network encompassing entire communities. Each family knows precisely whom to contact if their primary water source fails. "We lack insurance providers," an elder clarified, "but we possess mutual support." Natural indicators assist them in identifying potential issues before they escalate. Certain plants growing near water sources function as early warning systems. If their leaves begin to yellow or wilt, it might signal changes in water quality. Frogs serve as another indicator. Their sudden absence from a pond or spring could suggest water problems. "Nature provides signals," one farmer explained. "We merely need to learn their interpretation." The challenge of water quality testing has spurred some ingenious solutions. Beyond traditional methods like observing plant vitality, some communities have developed proprietary water testing kits using natural materials. They employ specific types of moss that alter color when exposed to varying water conditions, and certain aquatic insects that thrive only in clean water act as living water quality indicators. Algae proliferation poses a persistent challenge, particularly in above-ground storage containers. The Amish have devised several natural remedies, such as adding small copper pieces to storage barrels or positioning containers to receive the optimal amount of sunlight. Some families maintain small fish in their larger storage tanks. The fish consume the algae and provide natural water circulation. "It's akin to having diminutive underwater horticulturalists," one Amish woman remarked with a smile. When emergencies arise, the community's water-sharing networks activate promptly. Horse-drawn water wagons conduct regular circuits, delivering water to families whose supplies have depleted. These deliveries adhere to meticulously planned routes, maximizing efficiency while minimizing strain on the horses. During a recent dry spell, I witnessed 3 water wagons coordinating their routes like a well-rehearsed ballet, guaranteeing every family in the community received their allocation. Storage capacity emerges as a critical factor during prolonged dry intervals. Some families have begun constructing supplementary cisterns or adding more rain barrels to augment their storage potential. However, these expansions require careful planning. Excessive stored water can lead to quality deterioration, while insufficient capacity leaves families exposed during droughts. Achieving the correct equilibrium necessitates experience and careful observation of weather patterns. The greatest challenge might lie in transmitting these water management proficiencies to subsequent generations. Young people must learn not only the practical elements of water collection and storage, but also the subtle indicators signaling potential issues. Imparting these skills demands patience and direct experience. "One cannot acquire water wisdom from a book," an elder stated. "One must live it." Through generations of experimentation, achievement, and setbacks, the Amish have forged a water management system that operates in concert with nature. It stands as a testament to the potency of community resourcefulness and tradition, demonstrating that sometimes the most straightforward solutions prove the most enduring.